Hi again, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. And again, you'll find my show on every Mondays at noon, so I invite you to please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. In the first segment, we've been talking with Mr. Merrill Chandler. He was the founder and chief strategist at Credit Sense, and a lot of great information there about credit optimization. And so if you didn't get his contact information, again, reach out to me through my website, tampabayradio.com, and I can definitely put you in touch with him. And also you can just visit his website, which was creditsense.com. In the second segment, we're going to be talking with Michael Potts. He is a home inspector in the Tampa Bay region with Affordable Inspections. He is also a licensed Florida general contractor, and his company has over 25 years of experience in the building industry. In this time, his company has inspected over 25,000 homes throughout the state of Florida, and he has a master's degree in building engineering management as well as structural engineering from Michigan State University, and he is a member of many building organizations, including the Florida Association of Building Inspectors. Michael, you have an extensive background in general contracting and engineering. Explain to me how this knowledge sets you apart from many of the home inspectors and companies that are in our marketplace.
Thank you, Jamie, for having us on your show today. Very excited being here. One of the main things that breaks us different than the regular home inspectors is that we have building experience. We inspect not only residential properties, we inspect also the commercial properties. And with that type of education and experience, we're able to dissect the properties and every aspect of the property, from the site all the way through the structure, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and cover every avenue with experience. Not only we learn from our books and education, but actually field experience, where all of our employees and inspectors have been in the field themselves and know how to build and know construction well, commercial and residential.
Now, you also are still involved in general contracting work. How is your company split between these two different avenues? You do home inspections, and you also do general contracting work as well.
Yeah.
So.
We're a full-time property inspection. That's residential, your homes, and also the commercial properties. We're able to take on selective clients. Recently, we took on one of the Catholic dioceses, one of the churches they purchased. We inspected the property. They wanted quite a bit of the work done, and we went ahead and did a contract with the Catholic diocese, and we're renovating one of their properties for them. And that goes along with the residential. We've done many window replacements, another job similar to that. But we work on the general contracting on an as-needed basis for our clientele, so we can offer that service. And also during the inspection period, should the client have any questions on, hey, what would that cost for us to add an addition, or we want to replace the windows, we're able to give them a professional estimate at the time to help them get closer to the closing table and have an understanding they're going to afford what they want to do down the road.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to mention and to promote about your company. I mean, not only are you an inspector, but you're also a licensed general contractor, whereas many inspectors go in there and they say, well, this needs fixed, but they really can't elaborate on the actual process or the cost. You can step in and give more information to, a customer on what's needed to be done, correct?
Exactly. A lot of clients really appreciate that. And there's no additional cost for a free estimate on that. That way we have a complete, all the aspects, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, roofing, structure, additions, and all the other crazy things that come up during the inspection process. We're able to provide that for our most sophisticated clients, commercial and residential. Now,
your company, you have other staff inspectors. Tell me a little bit more about the structure of your company.
We have 6 inspectors on staff. All of them are college educated. They're all licensed with a home inspector license through the state of Florida, ASHI, NASHI, or FABI, or InterNASHI. We follow the Florida state statutes and guidelines of all our inspection procedures, fully insured. And each one of our inspectors, we take a pride in educating our clients at the field. We don't leave a property until we answer all the questions clients. We love questions. We love the clients who ask the questions, and we definitely don't stay away from that anytime.
Now, speak to me a little bit about the process to become licensed to perform home inspections. I know several years ago when I got into the business, it was very unregulated, but it's kind of moved to a little bit more regulated now to get a license to be a home inspector in Florida. How does that work?
Basically, you can call the state. You're going to be able to schedule for the test, see if you qualify for the test to the state of Florida. It's a test is a lot more complicated now than before when there wasn't any testing. They definitely want to keep it regulated, and also we have they're insured. To go out there and do the inspection, you should show with their license card, the home inspection card, and also show their insurance at the onset of every inspection.
I think that's a very important point that you just made there. Make them show that their credentials, prior to getting them out there into your property, because when you're in the purchase process and you're in the contract and it's time to inspect the home, you would definitely want to make sure you're working with a qualified professional such as yourself. Now, being in the home building industry for so many years, I have no doubt you've seen many unique situations that if they're not uncovered during the home inspection process, could severely impact the buyer's wallet post closing. Tell me about some of the unique situations that you've uncovered during your inspections.
Well, 20 plus years of doing this, I've seen a lot of interesting points that I'd like to bring up, but we won't have enough time today, but some of the big ones here real quick. Tips for the first-time home buyers and the realtors when they go out there. Make sure you know if the house is on a septic system versus a sanitary sewer. And if it's on septic, make sure that they pull the lid and have a certified septic person drain that, get in there, look at those walls and make sure, because it could be easily a $10,000 deficit if there is a mistake and they look past that. Also, you want to make sure that, you talk about your electrical systems and your roofing systems, that this house is insurable. That's a big item out there, that these houses, we don't have single-strand aluminum wiring, knob and tube wiring, unsafe wiring conditions that could cause you not to have insurance, and you're buying that house. Another good reason to have your home properly inspected. Yeah,
let's speak a little bit about, you mentioned, in getting a home insured. There's the 4-point inspection that older homes have to go through. Explain which homes have to go through this and what you're looking at in a 4-point inspection.
A 4-point inspection is typically utilized for a home that people want to get insurance. I have some clients that pay cash for a home. They don't care if they get insurance or not. That's fine. It's up to you, the home buyer, if you qualify. But if you're going through a bank, a conventional mortgage, FHA, or VA, you're going to have to get insurance for the loan. So getting insurance, you need a clean 4-point if the home is over 30 years old. And it typically covers the 4 points: your roof, your electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. We'll make sure the roof is watertight and has so many years of life expectancy. Same with the electrical system. The knob and tube you're not going to be insured with a knob and tube system. We do still see that in South St. Pete and some of the other homes. The glass fuses. There are certain circuit breakers like a Zinco panel. Citizens won't insure that panel today. So those things are very important to make sure. The big items are obviously, you have your non-leaking roof, life expectancy of the roof, a safe electrical system, obviously your plumbing, and the rest of the structure has to be sound.
Speak a little bit more about what knob and tube electrical is. You hear that term a lot, but a lot of people don't understand what that is unless they've been in the building industry.
Knob and tube is your original type of wiring where you have a bare wire with on a porcelain transmitter, and it runs to your house hot and live. So if you get up there in the attic and you see some porcelain connectors and you have wires wrapped around them and it's all running through your attic and it's still hot today, it's a huge fire hazard, and you definitely should have a license. Florida certified licensed electrician up there to terminate that and have it properly corrected in your home.
And when did that go out of practice, and what year did that?
That was done in the 50s, mid-50s, early 50s, and then it started going to the circuit breaker panels mid-50s on up to today.
And also, you were mentioning, the different components of the home inspection. You mentioned the septic tank, and I've worked with bank-owned properties. I have to have a lot of my properties inspected, and you'd be surprised. I had a number of inspectors issue me a septic inspection without even draining the tank. So that's a very important point, to make sure that happens, and you covered that. So definitely tell that you're very thorough in what you do. Mm-hmm. Now, Florida has, some unique challenges with regard to the properties built here. Most notably sinkhole and settlement issues. Yes. Elaborate a little bit more on this. And, with your background in structural engineering, I imagine you possess a keener eye than most with regard to structural damage caused by sinkhole or settlement activity.
At the first glance, we see a lot of the sinkholes or shifting soils in certain parts of the area. We noticed you got some areas in Safety Harbor and Dunedin. Recently, we read in the paper about some sinkholes open up or some properties shifting soils. It all depends on your subsurface exploration and what type of soil is below there. Remember, we live on top of Swiss cheese here. Mm-hmm. There's all types of opening and gaps below us. If you do, we need to physically see the property first to make that. I'm not going to be able to do it over the phone. It's one of those visual observations that should be done and highly recommended before someone goes off mentioning that we have a structural problem, because that could be a huge issue or just typical settlement. So I advise you get a licensed property personnel out there to look at your property to make sure that they're not just guessing what you're getting at, because it could be a large financial cost of doing soil injections below the foundation systems. And then it could be a sinkhole. It could just be some dredgings that happen where you have some clay soils where the soils will swell during the wet season and reside during the dry seasons. And we see that quite often in Florida.
Right, and there's such a rush to judge a home as settlement or sinkhole when you see some cracks. And I always tell people every day in this business, every home in Florida is going to have some cracking somewhere. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that you're sitting on a sinkhole. And unfortunately, it's just a problem that we deal with in real estate every day in the Tampa Bay region.
It could be tree roots too that's pushing things up. Usually that's sidewalks or driveways.
Yeah, it can be a number of different things. So I got to take a quick break here to hear from my sponsors, but please stay tuned. We'll be talking more here in the last segment with Michael Potts on home inspections here in the Tampa Bay region, so please stay tuned.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the Hud Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why Hud Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. Since opening its doors 120 years ago, Stewart Title Company has established a lasting legacy of providing professional title services. Even other title insurance companies know Stewart Title Company because they do their actual underwriting for them. Stewart is here to provide a wide range of resources to help improve any real estate transaction. To learn more about protecting yourself against hidden title hazards that may threaten your financial investment, call Melissa Stoddard at 813-431-8025. That's 813-431-8025. You're listening to the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Maloney. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking in the first half of the show. We're talking with Mr. Merrill Chandler. He is the founder and chief strategist at Credit Sense, and we have got a lot of great information on the credit optimization process. And here in the second segment, we've been talking with Michael Potts of Affordable Inspections about home inspections here in the Tampa Bay region. So we were just talking about some unique, challenges that we have here with the building industry here in Florida, and we were talking about sinkhole and settlement, but you come across a lot of other things, and one of the big things that's been in the news over the last several years is Chinese drywall. Let's talk a little bit about that and what are the symptoms of that and how you advise consumers when you come across those things.
We had a lot of Chinese drywall in the last, since 2002. It was known in the Florida area for approximately for 2002 to 2007, Southeast United States. Chinese drywall was when they took the drywall manufacturers were using too much of byproduct from the fly ash from the coal-producing furnaces. And what occurred was that byproduct was the overabundance of the byproduct in the drywall would be the emissions of sulfuric gases. It was causing the corrosion in the homes that we see today. It's still today, but it was very obvious between 2002 and 2007 in Florida. Some of the myths about it, you can always smell Chinese drywall. That's not the case. You walk in, some homes you can smell the sulfuric gas. It's kind of like rotten eggs or sulfur smell. But usually we can open up the electrical panel, and you look at the copper, instead of being a clean copper, it would be a black film on the copper, or your coils would be corroded on your air conditioning systems. And you can also see spots in your mirrors, corrosion of the hardware, and all the finished metals in your house, a tremendous amount of corrosion. And remember, a lot of times you cannot always smell it. You have to go in and do a physical observation. When you're allowed, you can actually look at back sides of drywall when it's open up for the stamps from China. When not permitted to do that, you have to do we have some telescopes that go up inside the wall, and shooting cameras shots on the backside of the drywall.
Yeah, and it's important to note. I mean, sometimes it's obvious. I've had a couple properties that I've sold for my bank clients. You walk in and you can definitely smell the odor, the rotten egg odor. But then again, maybe only part of the home was done with the defective drywall. Maybe also it was an older home and there wasn't an addition done during this time. So maybe just the addition has this. So the signs that you were just talking about, in addition to the smell, but the smell's not always so obvious. The blackened copper wire, the blackened coils on the AC, and over time, the sulfuric gas emissions can corrode these components and lead to complete rewiring. And if you also have to re-drywall the home as well. So some great points that you brought up there as well about this.
Well, back on Chinese drywall real quick. We've done Chinese drywall out there and did the inspections. We're called back out because we put our sticker on the panel. Called back out 2 weeks later by another person buying the house. And remember, the bank owned the property. A good reason, folks, out there to get these homes properly inspected, because you could be buying a home that was already inspected. No one told the buyers that the house had Chinese drywall. They had us out there the second time. The bank wasn't obligated to do that, so we went back out, re-inspected the house for the people. The first time we did it was for one of the Buccaneers. It's a huge home. And these usually happen in large production areas where people are buying large sheets of drywall, because the bottom line, they're going to save a lot of money. But now this costs them a lot in the end by replacing. Mostly it consists in the walls, never the ceilings.
And there's other, issues such as mold, or as we say in the banking industry, discoloration. They don't like us to use the word mold. But talk a little bit about, that threat here in Florida.
Yeah, molds, anytime you have the relative humidity of about 50% in homes, if you turn the air conditioner off, we live in a tropical environment, you're going to get mold somewhere. I can find mold in pretty much anybody's home, inside your shower pans, inside the air conditioner systems. Depends how scientific you want to get. You can pull out some type of mold particles and take it to the laboratory and have it tested. You can find mold in most homes. Not only molds we're having issues with, Jamie, but also we need to take a look at the rodents and termites in properties. We have a lot of interesting conversations about rodents and termites. Remember one thing about rodents, there's two types of homes. There's homes that have termites and rodents, and there's homes that are going to get termites or rodents. In Florida, we see rodents that they don't discriminate. They go on multi-million-dollar properties. I mean, I just went into a very huge home in Tierra Verde. We popped the lid into this up in the attic in this multi-million-dollar home. There's just rodents run galore. The number one access we see, in our opinion, is the vertical access for the mechanical chases, where you should use like an extruded polystyrene or some type of mesh at the bottom to keep that traffic way down. Rodents do get in the attics. One thing they do, they like to go right for that ductwork in the summertime. They'll tunnel in the ductwork. And when you turn the air conditioner on, it smells like a pet shop in there. Most likely it's good because you got rodent urination or feces up in your attic. And because there's plenty of fruit trees in Florida. We always have fruit trees everywhere. So we're able to feed these rodents. The rodents can get to your property, in your property, through mostly, number one is your bottom of your AC chase, under your garage doors and soffit areas. And termites, a funny thing about termites, we recently did a high-rise on Sand Key, and we found termites on the 9th floor. The realtor just about went nuts on us because it was a great deal for her and us too, but we had to be honest with them. We told them, hey, we found termites 9 floors up. What happened, somebody hosted a piece of furniture, a very expensive MR they brought in. Well, unfortunately, that furniture was hosting some termites. When they headed up in the room, and next thing you know, they started traveling through the condo on the 9th floor up.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I think we also talked a little bit about, the stucco frame designed homes here in Florida. Talk a little bit about that and the misconception that just because a home has stucco on it, that it's a block home.
Yeah, your masonry construction home is what we see majority of here in the newer, where you have a slab on grade, a monolithic slab with masonry walls, and on the walls get cladded with a painted stucco system. However, you still have the monolithic slabs or a stem wall, but you have frame walls, a wood frame. And the species of lumber used here in Florida is the Southern Yellow Pine #2. It's very hard. When it gets older, it'll dry up and hard. You have to actually screw into it to fasten. But just because you see stucco doesn't mean that house is a masonry home. You actually have to look into the wall. We're not allowed to dig into it. We can tap the wall in certain ways to do it. But a good quick viewpoint, look how the windows are reset back. If your windows are set further back in, usually it's a masonry home versus a wood frame home.
And what can happen a lot of times is, the stucco can crack, and then you get moisture in there, and then the wood starts to deteriorate, and we can also get, the mold and the discoloration. And so that's something that, that you want to make sure that you're buying. There's also a lot of inaccurate public records that'll state that a home's block, and it's really stucco over frame. I see that all the time. That's not so much with newer stuff, but homes that were built, 1960s and before. I see that a lot. So if you're uncertain, you definitely want to bring that up with a licensed home inspector, would you not say?
Definitely so. You want to make that a point. The realtors, just beware. Some of these homes that have stucco are not wood frame, and I've seen deals fall through when we're out there. I tell the buyer and the realtor, this is a wood frame home. Wood frame homes are great. I live in one that's 1926. But they let, when properly maintained, your home can last a long time. And the stucco, just when you see any cracking, obviously properly waterproof and painted.
Now, tell me a little bit about what you do when you go to a home inspection and what you provide consumers with at the conclusion of the home inspection.
The home inspection will show up on time with a educated, licensed professional inspector and contractor that will be there. If you want a termite, we'll bring our WDO termite inspector with us. We go out there, we fully meet the client, go over their insurance, and go over our scope of work, and then we will engage into the inspection process. And it consists of basically 6 to 7 points. We cover the structure with the client. We cover the mechanical system with the client. That's the age and life expectancy of the mechanical system. That's very important because you definitely don't want to undersize mechanical system. Or if your mechanical system's already 20 years old, the client needs to know that when they're assessing the cost of what improvements they're going to be doing in the very near future. The electrical system, the size and accuracy and the safeness of the electrical system. Obviously, if it's a knob, if it's an uninsurable panel, they need to know immediately. Your plumbing system, what type of hot water tank, is it on demand? Can they put it on demand? Well, us as contractors, we can give the clients some valuable information. Can we add a gas on-demand water system to that? We climb on the roof. When we get on the roof, we look for flashing failures, water intrusion. A lot of common things we see in Florida on the roof is that the rodents like to eat a lot of the roof vents. Very odd. They chew up there. That allows water to intrude in. We look at the civil work, the site work, and the site work deals if we're going to have drainage away from the building, drainage toward the building, and also a lot of tree root pressures and issues like that. Any type of encroachments to the easements, we could bring those items up. All those items are put into a nice report that gets emailed to the client. But at the conclusion of the inspection, it will get emailed to the client with 50 to over 100 photographs. We like to photograph a lot so the client has the accurate information at the time of the inspection. Not only will you get your full property inspection, you get your WDO, wood destroying organism report, that shows the existence or non-existence of subterranean termites, drywood termites, wood destroying fungus. And obviously, we're going to bring up some rodent issues, which is always a tough one because clients don't want to find out their house has rodent issues, which they commonly do.
Now, you also state in your bio that your company offers free inspections to returning veterans. Explain a little bit more about this and what you can do for them.
We're touched by our wounded warriors coming back from war. We feel that we're obligated to get back to our country. And the wounded warriors out there, if you're listening, please give us a call. We're out there inspecting for you free. We'll take care of you. That's
a great thing that you're putting out there for the community and for our veterans. And I commend you highly on that. That's very, very great of you to do that. So Michael, we're running short of time here. Real quick for the audience, go ahead and give out your contact information for them, please.
You can reach me 24/7 at Michael Potts at 727-224-0837.
And one more time for the audience.
727-224-0837.
And you have a website for the listeners?
Yeah, so you can reach me at www.inspect, that's INSPECT, dash, a little minus sign, numerical1.com. That's www.inspect-1.com.
Great. Michael, you are definitely have a plethora of information on the home inspection process as well as the building industry, and I'm sure we could probably talk for probably 2 hours about all the different components of the home. So definitely would like to invite you in for another segment here in the future to go over some more of this information in depth. But again, a lot of great information here. I can definitely tell that you've been into business for a long time and have a lot of great information. So to all my listeners out there, I highly recommend that you reach out to Michael Potts for all your home inspection needs. And if you didn't catch his information there when he gave it out, you can always reach out to me off the air at TampaBayRadio.com. Again, that's TampaBayRadio.com. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. You'll find my show on every Mondays at noon, so I invite you to please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Also, I am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and I'm also licensed to sell homes here in the state of Florida. So if you're looking to sell a home, I offer all my listeners a free home valuation if they text the word value to my cell phone, 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and hope you have a great rest of the week. And I'll see you again here next Monday at noon on the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show. Thank you, everybody.
The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the preceding program are not those of WHNZ AM. It's